Tonight on The Big Idea.
We agree on absolutely nothing.
They love each other, but can they work together?
Welcome to The Big Idea, your daily roadmap to the American dream. I'm Donny Deutsch. Tonight, we're making millions with Mom. It's a whole new show with moms and daughters running businesses together. You know, that's interesting, making big money and trying to stay best of friends along the way. It's not always easy. Somebody's still got to be the boss. So how do they handle the pressure? My first guests are going to tell us everything they know about it. June Jacobs, who's our mom and the CEO of June Jacobs Spa Collection, and Rochelle Jacobs Silpy, the daughter and COO of the June Jacobs Spa Collection. Welcome, guys.
Well, thank you for having us.
All right, guys, before we get into more of the mom-daughter stuff, June Jacobs Spa Collection, 150 employees. Tell me about the business.
You want to say? You want me to? Okay.
I was told not to talk over her throughout this entire thing because one of her biggest pet peeves about me is that every time we go in a meeting, I'm always talking over her. So I'm going to let...
June Jacobs is a national...
I see the dynamic already. Go on. Okay, right.
June Jacobs Spa Collection is a nationally recognized spa line that's really only found in 5- and 6-star spas, places like Parrot Cay, Ojai Valley,
and
Peninsula.
Lotions and creams.
Complete
and
skincare with an amazing point of difference. We're basically fragrance-free. We use lots of aromatics.
Right. So I know the lines of highly respected lines. So let's get into the fun stuff now. Moms and daughters working together. I sense with you guys, although there's this incredible love, that there's a little friction in business, a little healthy friction.
Most definitely.
That's a very nice way of saying it.
Okay, before we get to... So you grew up basically single mom, and you had your daughter at 20, so you guys were a lot of ways friends growing up.
Definitely.
We were more like sisters.
More like sisters.
My grandmother, her mom, was like our mother.
Okay.
So she raised us.
So when your husband suggested that you go into business with Mom, what was everybody's reaction? No way. How come?
I said, let me think about it, and I said it to her. And she said, no way. You've been working so hard all these years doing all these other things. Why would you want to come to my, at the time, very little company? And I said, because I want to make it into a big company. So I actually did a PowerPoint presentation and had to interview.
With me and my partner. And she was great. She was absolutely terrific. It was as if she was interviewing for any other job.
So you forget that it was a daughter. This is somebody you would have brought on.
100%.
Okay, now, you obviously, I always say, I went to business with my dad. And my dad is my best friend and my favorite person in the world. I always like to say he did the hard part because he started something from nothing. And I like your point. Yeah. She's going to say that. Right. And I was lucky enough I was able to scale it and make it large. But, and we had this amazing relationship. Was it tough now? You have a daughter coming in. She's got all these new ideas, computerizing, blah, blah, blah. Was it kind of tough hearing the daughter tell you what's right, what's wrong? And
I think because it was the young blood and it was a different generation that you were excited about getting that kind of knowledge and bringing it into your business. It was fabulous.
But she had to rein me in all the time because she kept saying, this is not, 30,000 employee company. Like, keep your, if people show up at 9:01, you don't have to get your shotgun out. Like, just relax. We have a small company mentality. We can grow it and we can develop it, but you need to, like, really chill out, like, take a break for a second.
There's a commonality with a lot of second and third generation businesses. The first generation is very task-oriented and really do things a certain way, old school. Right. Then whippersnappers like you who went to business schools and were raised in computers and systems, you want to come in and overnight change a mom-and-pop business.
Right, exactly.
So where were some of the clashes?
For the most part, we really don't fight. We don't agree on many things.
What do you mean don't fight? You don't agree on anything.
Nothing.
We agree on absolutely nothing. We've actually, I say black, or she says black, I say white, and if she says white, I have to say black.
Okay.
So we don't agree on anything.
But then how do you get to fruition on decisions?
You get from point A to point B because you just sort it out, you hack it out, and you just do it. We just don't agree.
I'll put it another way. You guys probably not agreeing is very healthy because there's a built-in yin and a yang, and somewhere the best partners are people who look at things very, very differently. Like my dad and I, we have the same value system, but we always came at things differently, and one strength was the other one weakness, and vice versa.
I think we have the same value system as well, but we don't agree.
But what's interesting, you just pointed something that's really interesting, because we actually have that exact same, we have very similar strengths at the end, but the way we get there, our approaches are so different, so it actually does complement each other.
What is your approach different than Mom's?
I ask one person to do something and follow through with that one person to get something done. She actually will ask like 50 people to do the exact same thing.
Because I want it done in 5 minutes.
Instant gratification gene, and you know, that's where we have some of the struggles. But
okay, I know you have there. If there are some rules out there for either doing business with your mom, or in your case now, mom and husband. Give me some of the rules out there that people can kind of follow if they're about to go on business with their mom or husband, or they have been in business. So give me the Rochelle rules.
Well, the Rochelle rules are we put caller ID block on our phone so that when she calls, we know if it's been a certain amount of times that night, we don't have to answer it. Another rule is I'm not supposed to be on my BlackBerry during meals or during, you know, certain times of day. But the problem is, like, the international people are on different times. So it's sort of, that's one rule that I break a little too often. But the other rule we have is 3 best things every day that happened and 3 worst things that happened in each day. And if you have more than 3, we don't talk about it, because I can't handle, like, after a whole long day of work, putting the kids to sleep, trying to balance and you know, doing the trade-off, mom, you know, business person, going out for dinner with my mother and my husband, and all of us sitting there talking about all these crazy things. So everyone gets to talk about 3 things, have the conversation, and then move on and talk about the fun stuff.
Is it hard looking at your daughter in business, because she was your baby, and even though you were kind of sisters, you were still the mom growing up, do you ever, when your daughter says something or is taking the business in a direction, and you kind of know she's right, and why not, is it ever threatening, or is it more proud mom?
Proud.
Proud mom.
But she never tells me.
Why not?
I tell other people. I don't tell her. Because
Why is that?
Because you don't want to get their heads inflated.
Believe me, she's never inflated my head.
No. I don't ever tell her.
Why? I can understand why you don't want to.
It's hard.
Never.
It's hard.
I mean, without being kind of Donahue here or Dr. Phil.
A couple of times.
I'm just curious what, and obviously it's worked. You guys have something great going, so I'm not saying this critically, but from either a management point of view or a mom point of view, or both, why don't you tell her, great job, or that's amazing, or what's the deal?
Because I honestly want her to continue to grow and develop herself, and I think if you keep telling her how wonderful and great she is, then she won't continue.
Isn't there a happy medium? I agree you can't blow their heads up,
constantly.
But you see, I always find with everybody.
I throw her a bone here and there.
I saved it. It was one email. Thank you so much for all your hard work. It's in my saved June items.
Why? Does that bother you?
You know, it used to bother me, but because so many other people tell me that she says it, it makes me feel good that at least I know she does recognize some of the things I've added value in over the years.
My mom's a little the same way. She's prouder than anybody in the world, but she'll usually tell her friends at the country club before she
exactly.
But we all know that. That's good. So, do you ever tell her how proud you are of her?
All the time. Okay, I am so proud of her because for me, like, she's pushed me for everything I've ever done in my life, especially before we worked together. She pushed me to do everything. I mean, I was the only person in 7th grade with a subscription to the Wall Street Journal that arrived every day and was expected to read it.
Was this because also you were a single mom at a young age and you're like, okay, woman's got to know how to stand on her own?
Exactly.
And
I think that's the reason why I wanted her to be independent. I wanted her to be highly educated. I wanted her to have all the opportunities that she could possibly have, because at the time when I was a single mother, I didn't have my business. My business didn't start until 1993. So I was very, it was in my thoughts day and night. I want her to be successful.
Final thoughts for any mother's daughters thinking about going to business together? Any advice?
Great.
Yeah, it's a great
Persevere and do it.
But I would say when the day ends and you go out for dinner, let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about the restaurant.
Well, that's no different than a father-son business. June Jacobs, Rochelle Jacobs, Silpy of June Jacobs Spa Collection. A very happy and successful mother-daughter combination. More mothers and daughters working together, making big bucks, a little friction sometimes, when the big idea continues.